All right, guys. Well, welcome back. Here we are. This is what all comes down to. This is the championship of the Cardboard Seller Series, tournament number 3. So, as always, in here in the booth with Jared Ellenberger.
Yeah, for all the marbles here, we've got Philip Zell on the left and Ryan Walters.
Walters. Yep.
Walters, all right, on the right. Two big mana decks facing off against each other in Eldrazi ramp for Phil, and I think we saw in round one a glimpse of Ryan's Titan deck as well. So, um, really a matchup for the ages with massive massive titans, massive creatures slugging back and forth.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and who can do the most with all the mana that they're going to produce. So, kind of see. Yeah, it looks like Phil's going to start us off here with a
And we're
relic.
on a great note, seeing both our players keep 7 here. It's great to see that in the championship. Everybody doing what their deck's plan is and getting to see whose plan is more powerful.
Yeah, and definitely Ryan. I think starting off with the amulet is starting in the better position. Curious to see if Phil's kind of holding up a K command here and what his next steps are. Let's kind of see where Ryan goes. Okay, the Grazer.
Yeah, Relic not massively impactful against Titan, although it is more impactful against these versions that have the Aether Augur, or I can't remember the name of that card. Apologies. Uh, but the one that brings lands back from the graveyard, it's more impactful than it has been in previous iterations of Titan.
Yeah, I think the
But
only
definitely
thing
not.
I think the only thing is the shifting woodlands. So he does play a shifting woodlands. So if he was going to try to like copy a Titan, but I don't think that Phil's really looking for that.
Okay, he doesn't play the creature. It's a green creature that has a sacrifice ability to bring it like
Oh,
mills 3 and then brings all the lands back. Augury Adept? No, I'm making card
no,
names
there
up
because
here.
it used to be the Sakura Tribe Elder back in the day, and then it went to its the analyst, the elf analyst thing.
Yes,
No,
Aftermath Analyst.
yeah, no, he doesn't
Um,
play that.
okay, yeah, that card unlocks some additional combo potential, but interesting to see that he's not on that version of the deck here.
No, I think he's kind of sticking with his original. I know he, as we kind of talked about in the first round that he played, he's got a couple of new different cards that he wanted to try out. So he's got a couple of those in there. But no, yeah, I mean, I feel like the analyst is definitely an incredible addition that he should be looking into for next. So definitely good outlook there.
Yep. And Phil off to a powerful start here with the Karn the Great Creator getting the uh, liquid metal coating. Going to be able to start doing some land hate as is critical for this matchup, I imagine. And Ryan, despite having the amulet of vigor in his opener, is digging for some action here in a slower start for this deck.
Yeah, Rumble, big man, Rumble. So, and we kind of see, you see the green shell up there. So that's one of the cards that we talked about from his round one. I'm actually gonna pop that up, but he wanted to try this out from Bloomborough, and it's just a big beefy turtle, as you can kind of see, and it gets a +2/+2 if you got all those lands, and has some extra text on it. So yeah, a little something he wanted to try out, but
Yeah, definitely an interesting piece. Um, and it gives him another axis to attack on that Phil may not be prepared for here. I think his land hate strategy is going to be quite powerful regardless. Um, but just having that ability to juke and jive in ways your opponents don't expect can be very powerful at times. Phil really putting the screws to Ryan's mana base here as he destroys a land with the Karn liquid metal coating and then destroys another with the micro spawn here. Not looking so hot for Ryan in this first one. That said, the Amulet Titan deck does have the ability to come back from nowhere. You get maybe we get a second Amulet off the top and a bounce land, and you're off to the races. making a ton of mana, and popping a Primeval Titan out there. It only takes one piece to slip through for things to turn sideways on Phill very quickly.
Yeah, I mean it. As we kind of talked about on both ends, yeah, just boom. But yeah, Ryan kind of in a tough spot here. Phill looks like he's all gas and no brakes, and he's kind of put the brakes to Ryan.
Yeah, for sure. If Ryan doesn't have something come together in this next turn, that um, liquid metal coating is going to bury him.
I will turn the Saga into an artifact and turn it into a creature.
Yeah, liquid metal, that combo is great. I mean, definitely have had it hit on me, and it sucks when it's against you. But when you're just carning somebody and liquid metal coating them, and there it is, the Ulamog to the face. Uh,
Brutal.
Wrap it up. Yep, unfortunate here.
Ryan looks like he's going to be playing it out though. Um, Trying to get every ounce of camera time in that he can. There isn't much to be done in the face of a Ulamog that's going to kill you in two attacks. Three if you manage to get some blockers out there. But this one's in the books for Phill, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's looking pretty one-sided, pretty full board, pretty bare. So let's kind of see what we think Ryan's gonna be doing here. Once again, new player, still kind of learning through some things. Now,
can you be called a new player when you're in the championship? I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess there's a bit of beginner's luck still, but you're getting to be a veteran by the time you're sitting in the finals of a tournament.
Yeah, third tournament, and he definitely had to get through a couple big opponents to get here, but see how he does in this. Now, I feel realistically the only thing he might be bringing in is I don't think he's trying to maybe
does not look like he's got Eldrazi on his radar to me.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Force of Vigor's not really doing much because I mean like
I'm
Chalice
sure he has
isn't
some Besagers in the main, but I don't see anything that's really calling my name. That Insidious Fungus, I guess, could. Well, it's not even the card I think it is. Never mind. I don't see anything here for him. I think he's just got to execute his plan as best he can.
right. Now let's kind of go over to Phil's sideboard. We've seen a lot of this sideboard, but I think Phill is also kind of just running his plan at this point and continuing with what he has.
If there's a sideboard we're going to see throughout the tournament over and over again, it's the one with 13 different cards, 12 different cards that we want to be looking at here. As far as what he brings in, liquid metal coating's definitely staying in the board. He could bring in the Haywire Might potentially to deal with the Amulet or a Spelunking, and Snaring Bridge might be worthwhile. By the time a Titan hits the battlefield, it may not make a difference. The Stonebrain could come in again to just get the Titans out of the deck. Torpor Orb would be great, I think.
Yeah, I feel like Torpor Orb might be, but is that something that he just keeps in the side still? But all right,
yeah, it's hard to say.
Let's find out. Is this it? Will we have a crown victor, or is Ryan going to kind of push through to this game 3?
Yep. I think you're boarding in the Stonebrains, leaving the Torpor Orb and the liquid metal coating in, because if you have a turn to get the liquid metal coating lock online, you go for that. But if you don't, you just get the Torpor Orb and cast it right away.
Yeah. What do you think you're hitting with the Stonebrain? Just Titan itself?
I would hit Titan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the expert at this, but when I'm playing Thoughtseize decks, I bring in Surgical Extraction against Titan. Thoughtseize decks don't tend to match up super well against Amulet Titan in my experience. So I had, I swing for the fences by bringing in those Surgicals, hoping I can hit that threat and just take this wind out of his sails with it.
Yeah, and I actually got to play against Ryan in round 4, I believe. And yeah, definitely wasn't sure how that one was going to go, but with a lot of land destruction in my deck and ability to blink, made it difficult for him to kind of get engines rolling. But we do see Phill with the Thought Knot coming down. Gonna peek at
Yeah.
Ryan's hand.
An aggressive start here from Phill, getting to break up whatever potential Ryan has in his hand and put a 4/4 on to the battlefield on turn 2.
Yep, and that's
Exactly.
what we thought.
Exactly the kind of start I think that Phill is looking for here, especially if he can follow it up with another Karn block here on the next turn or two.
Yep, and we're seeing that fungus that kind of in hand, so it looks like he did bring that in.
Yeah, I had the misfortune to play against Ryan in the semifinals as well and got beat down pretty badly. Made short work of me with I think turn 2 or turn 3 combos in both our games there.
Yeah, it's tough when they're just doing their thing and beating in. And trying to look around, kind of figure out what's going on.
Yeah, no reason not to make sure you know what every card does, every line of text, especially when you see something like a Relic of Progenitus that you're not quite sure lines up against your game plan. It does take care of that shifting woodland pretty well, but just making sure it doesn't do something that you're forgetting it does to impact your game plan.
I don't think Ryan's got too much going on here. He moves very quick. He is indicating that he does have the 2 floating bounced back up in the hand, so that's 3, 4 for the Urza. So I'm assuming he's
casting a Green Sun for 3. Likely going to go get a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's 100% what I would say he's getting. Gonna try to adjust mana base, I guess, here and I get some additional land drops.
Yep. Maybe reset that Urza Saga as well in case he has to go the construct route. But his constructs are just not going to be big enough. He doesn't have enough artifacts in this deck to face off against these Eldrazi. So maybe that's not the route.
Oh, I don't know that in this position that Collector Oof is going to be accomplishing too much. He's probably thinking the liquid metal coating again, but
and it may be a worthwhile hedge, but I don't know if it's the kind of shot you need to take here. When you have no gas left in your own hand to execute your own game plan, I kind of think you need to fetch up the thing that lets your game plan move forward rather than trying to combat your opponent's hate. This is definitely something we see from newer players. It's very tempting to fall into where you just think of what can this person do to hurt me and how do I prevent that, as opposed to what can I do to win.
Right, because then you can even play the additional land to then have the mana to make a construct before you have to rid your Urza Saga. So
Yep, for sure. Leaves you with multiple avenues, and so far it seems like Phill doesn't have that much going on. I'm guessing there's a Karn the Great Creator stuck in his hand right now. He's just waiting on that 4th land for it. But we shall see.
yeah, I feel like there's K command or Karn waiting here, but he's gonna try to go with this fungus, the insidious fungus. All right, we're gonna get 4 mana off of this. Did he?
Returns the forest instead.
So he's playing the fungus off of that. A little backwards here. Gonna destroy target artifact.
Didn't look like Phill chose to sack the relic. Maybe that's I don't think it's going to be a big impact on the game, but maybe a card short in hand.
He can't activate it. He can't activate it.
You're 100% right.
So he is going to K command, which what I figured he had. And let's see what kind of degenerate things he's going to do now. With 10 mana towards Eldrazi now, even more towards Eldrazi, 11 towards Eldrazi.
Yep, and looks like the 10 you mentioned is all he's going to need for
Mm-hmm.
So it has a cast trigger where I
an Emrakul, I think. Emrakul the Promised End?
thank you for
Yep.
before
Or not the Promised End, it's the uh, Eldritch Moon one.
Yep.
It is the Promised End.
Is that what? Hold on, I can
Why
check
not?
his.
Yep. So
Yeah, because the original is Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Emrakul the Promised End is the Eldritch Moon one. So now Phill, having the fun experience of taking his opponent's turn, especially when they have a Lotus Field in their hand, and you get to make them sacrifice all their lands. And it looks like that'll be enough. And Philip Zell is our champion of the third cardboard Cellar tournament series.
Yeah, great games. Ryan unfortunately just had not much he could do there, but big congrats to Phill. Appreciate him making the drive all the way out here, and hopefully had fun. And I hope everyone joins us for the next one coming up on April 26th. So we'll be back in action for number 4, and hope to see you guys.
Yeah, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you then.